Hello and welcome to Flory Models Friday Catch-Up Show. Here we are with you on July the 4th, 2025. Again, huge week this week. The building work has commenced. It has caused quite a bit of disruption, I'm not going to lie, because of the noise. So I've been down here working at night or first thing in the morning before the builders get here, which to be honest with you, isn't been a bad thing. It's been nice and cool. So it's quite nice working here in the evenings. I know the guys on the live show on Thursday will understand it now because you've got the birds tweeting. It's very laid back and very, very nice. I fancy we're doing more like Gardener's World than we are modelling at the moment, but we are getting there. Anyway, busy week, so let's crack on. So Monday, we're on with part 5 of the actual Huey. Beautiful kit, although I have found one little niggle with it, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, so anyway, part 4 of the Huey's coming together. So we've got it all buttoned up, as you know, going through. Then we were doing the seats, so we made up some of our own harnesses. So actually these are Luftwaffe harnesses that we've adapted a little bit. So we cut some bits off and various things and stuck some bits on to make it look a little bit more realistic. They need weathering in yet, and they'll get that soon. All right, but then it was time to turn our attention to doing the green tint on the top windows as well, to give a little bit of protection for the crew. So we just spray clear green onto the top of that on there, and then we situated that in place. With those in, then we could actually glue those in properly. So we used a little bit of extra thin and run round, and then we went with the provided mask set after I made a complete hash of actually putting the mask set on. But anyway, I do love their masks. I think they're really, really nice. I know I've spoke about the length of them. I won't bore you again with it, but they are really very, very good. They work very, very well. And again, the great thing about them is, as I found out, you can peel them off and put them back down as many times as you like. And they're very, very forgiving. They don't stretch, they don't come out of shape, and they don't lose their tack particularly very much. And they've got just the amount of tack that it had been on for around about 2 weeks before I actually got on with the actual paintwork and unmasked it, as you'll see in a moment. Anyway, with that taken care of, there is a little bit of a seam line on the main rotors, so we had to take care of that. So a little bit of filler involved with there, and then sanding and polishing those out. Got that one finished off, and as you can see, looking very, very good. Literally now all ready for primer, and that's what it got. And then down in below us, you can see we have it done. So I'm a little bit more ahead of you, clearly, because next week on Monday you'll get the next bit, which covers all the painting sections and things like that. So we have unmasked and everything. My plan for this evening is put all the little bits and pieces on this, so it's going to be all like the door handles and the aerials, a little bit of photo etch and stuff like that down onto here. But you can see it's come along very, very nice. And to be honest with you, I think it's a great kit. Said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you're not usually a helicopter builder because you're put off of things, grab this kit. This kit goes together fantastically well. All right, we've done a few little bits onto this one to add bits onto it, but it does go in there very, very well. And obviously we've got all the parts down in here. So we've got the doors and things, which will get the handles slightly. We've got the actual covers for the engine, so we're going to have that showing a little bit. Might do a little bit of wiring in there and things like that. My only gripe to it is I've been harping on literally for the last, well, it feels like ever, about this kit, of how great it is. And then, let me put my glasses on so I can see it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. I've done one side, but it's got ejector pin marks on the tail rotor. Look, one there, one there. How infuriating. It's not a problem to get rid of it. I've already done one, and I'll do the other side on camera, so to speak. But to have ejector pins right on a tail rotor, and this is what sometimes I literally don't get it, because this kit has been almost a dream kit. It's like building Bandai or Tamiya. It's gone together incredibly well with no issues. And then suddenly you find an ejector pin in the worst possible place you can have it, let's face it. Especially because you've got that lamination on the tail as well, rotor, like the main rotor's got. It's a mini version of this, you know, with the metally bits on here. So consequently, you've got to get in there with your actual small little sanders and get rid of them and get it out. I appreciate you could have it tilted inwards, but it's going to be seen whichever way you do it. So it's like a perfect kit, and then they do that. And I'm like, oh, there you go, you've lost points now. You're a 90% perfect kit, shall we say. But I'm enjoying it. You can see I'm a little bit more ahead of you. To be honest, I'm working this weekend because the builders aren't. So I'm going to be pushing on with this one. Hopefully it'll be finished by Monday, and we're going to be starting on our new speedy project. So we've got something speedy, which I'll be starting next week. You'll see more about it on the Friday show as we make our way through. So yeah, really having a lot of fun with that one. Then we were on to Tuesday. Obviously the first of the vlogs, as you can see down in here. So again, I'm in, civilian clothes here purely because it was one of those things. I was doing a bit of a run through of what the guys have been doing, and obviously this is what it looked like before, 7:30 on Monday. In fact, I took these photos on Sunday. It looked like that. That's my little house. All right. And then was pointing out what's going to be happening to it, and then obviously what has happened to it, sort of going forward onwards now. So I've done some sort of comparison photos here, and then obviously, yes, so decking starts to get ripped down, the roof comes off, and then literally tearing down, as you might imagine, all the decking. The decking's had it, it's crumbly, it's lethal. The boys all testify, put your foot through it. And yeah, there we go. That was it, ripped out. That was after day one. That was the evening of day one. So in a day, they just ripped the entire lot out just like that. So that was pretty good work for a day's work. This was the kitchen. On the Friday, and then obviously we emptied it over the weekend and everything else like that, and I'm pointing out that's the bit we're getting rid of, that stupid archway all the way through. You would have seen these pictures no doubt elsewhere. So that's what it looked like just before they started ripping it up, and then lo and behold, after a few hours work, that's what it looked like as well. So they'd ripped the lot of it out as well. So literally within 2 days they had completely gutted everything and gone through. Anyway, there's a little bit of story about this, because now I'm talking about that we haven't got an earth and we had all these problems, which I spoke about with the guys as well. But needless to say, it's all been completely ripped out, it's all coming down, and it is all going. All right, so yeah, there's those things all going on. Then we were talking about obviously the group builds. Obviously one's just finished, which is our giant one, which is the take 2 that finished this week, and the new one started. Obviously the Girl Power group builds have started now as well, so we were running through with all of them. So over the next course of the next few weeks, next Friday shows, you're going to be getting the reveals from the actual take 2 SIG that we've been running, sorry, group build that we've been running over the last 6 months. But the thing is, there is 200 odd entries into it, so I'm going to break them down to like hundreds and things like that, or maybe 50s at a time, so it's a little bit more palatable to sit through everyone's great work that they've been doing over the last few months. All right, so anyway, that was down on there. That was basically what we were talking about on the actual show. And also a big shout out to Clint as well, because he surpassed 50,000 posts on the forum, and I think he's only the 4th person to do it, if I remember saying correctly. So congratulations to him as well. Then the daily vlogs continued, and I was talking at length, obviously, about what's going on and a few other things. We were talking about the Huey, how that's going, so forth and so on. And obviously we were talking about this gorgeous little kit, which I'll show you in a moment, which is obviously the Hella classic 1980s Connie, or Super Constellation. So again, it's a fantastic, beautiful looking aircraft, and again, it's a shame nobody else has sort of revisited it. The Hello one's okay, but it's all raised, and as you'll see in the review, it's showing its age. It's definitely showing its age. But for a kit, it's like 35 years old now, I think it is, or 36 years old. It's doing very, very well still. Just needs rescribing, a little bit of detailing, and fixing a lot of the parts that have been broken off because of, yeah, that's all in the review. You'll see all about that one down in there. So anyway, we're talking about nostalgic kits, and kits that, you know, test your patience, but they're there for a reason, and why this kit has continuously been on sale pretty much all the way through, because it is such a good kit and actually a stunning looking aircraft. I think that's got to be the most beautiful airliner there's ever been. I know the 747 looks good as well, don't get me wrong, I'm quite a fan of that for the jets, but props as well, that thing just looks like it's speedy. It's a gorgeous looking aircraft. Anyway, last night we had the members show. Obviously it was me, myself and I was doing the basically the Q&A right the way through. So members, as you'll know, I have now done the transcripts for it with the timestamps about whichever one it is. So you can go forward to like 6 minutes odd on these things, and then you can find the various chapters into this right the way through. The big one, of course, we were talking about was doing chipping techniques and things like that. So we were talking about the different ways of doing chipping. So we spoke about obviously doing the hairspray technique and going through and doing it that way. And then obviously we were going through showing it in detail, all down in here, using the scratch technique as well with that particular one. And then the other ways of doing it as well. So we were talking about how I used it on various video builds I've done, of using the sponge, good old fashioned sponge, and just literally torn sponge, really rough. And then you just come along and start dabbing it on. Not like that. That was a little bit too much too soon, clearly. But after that, I do get the hang of it again. And we start to go around and do some very, very light chipping, and showing you can do it very, very light like this. And again, great thing with this technique is it's totally random. So as long as you keep moving the actual sponge around, you'll be absolutely fine with that right the way through to doing quite heavy work. Last up, we were talking about pencils. So these are the AK weathering pencils, which are mega for this. Make sure you use it over a flat coat. And I was showing and demoing on that. But to be honest, my OCD brain's not brilliant at doing these types of things because it turns into animals and things when I end up doing them. But you get the idea. There's lots of things you can do with these as well. So anyway, that's what we were talking about. Also down on there, I demoed, what did we talk about at length? Oh yeah, when we were talking about weathering invasion stripes. So we were talking about sanding back and all stuff like that. And the other one I was showing was, oh no, we were showing some tools coming down the line in the future. We were doing this. So we were talking about raised rivets, the different ways. Obviously you could use Archer. We could use, you know, all the various ones that are out there that stick on, or go down aftermarket or print your own domed rivets, drill the holes and then put the rivets in them yourselves. So to start off, we use quite a big chunky rivet down in there just to show the process. And then over a bit further on, I went off and I did it on something a little bit finer and more refined, which was these little guys. We've got to put into this before I show it. Come on. There we go. Hopefully, no, cool, come back. There they are. There they are, down on there like that. Hold on, last one going in, and then I'll show it once I can get it in the hole. Again, you need good eyesight for doing that job. But there you go, down in there. Say PVA glue them in, no problem at all with it. But there you go, that's how you get your raised dome rivets on the outside of your model if you needed to put them in. Again, you can do various ones. I did bigger ones so they would show up on camera technically than what you would normally do. But anyway, full show on that one. Good show. It's, what is it? It is what, 2 hours 40 minutes long. I know we went about 10 minutes over on the past 9 o'clock, but again, we've got down there, we've got Buster, so answering your questions and all the other bits and pieces on the show as we always do. So if you want to catch up with that one, members, it is up on there right now. With you today, obviously, we've got that review of the actual Hella Locky Constellation. Again, it's been out, this kit, many different guises over the years. And but again, it's still doing all right. My biggest bugbear with this kit is that it doesn't come in a bag. So what did I end up with? I ended up with bits everywhere. I've got bits broken off the sprue. I've got bits that have just clearly fallen off the sprue. Obviously, the parts are rubbing against each other. It's not good. And I know I moan about bags. But you know, at least give me one, you know, even if I complain, you know, there's too many in a sprue bag, at least give us one bag at least. Anyway, it is all raised, so you are going to have to do some work with that. Either rescribe it, which isn't a problem, they're nice and straightforward, or you're going to have to go in with different types of weathering if you're going down on that route. You can see where it's been rubbing on the bottom here, and again where it's been sliding around the box. It's not brilliant, and as you'll see in a moment, I did end up with things. The mold is showing a little bit of aging because I assume the mold has collapsed in a couple of places because the wheel hubs, they're not flush and flat. They're literally as like they've been pushed in. So something's going on down in there. So again, the clear parts, they're not the clearest parts in the world, but they're definitely better than the Anson we looked at last week. All right, but anyway, there's a few bits and pieces in there and we talk about that kit at length. Anyway, the review for that is up right now. Obviously it is up on YouTube as well, but if not, if you just pop along to the actual site and pop along into the actual review section down on here, just go to florymodels.org, and then down in here we've got all the hundreds and hundreds of reviews, and again they all come with photos and they're all in high res as well. So if you want to look at the instructions, for instance, you can go through all the instructions of all the kits as well. I've got them all done and I've taken pictures of absolutely everything. So if you fancy having a look at a kit, you can obviously go through the back thing and have a look right down in there. Over in the store, we do have the full line of washes, thick and thin, are back in stock. We're doing really well. I've done a full restock as well of the in-flight stands. So obviously if you want to do nice in-flight stands, we've got all the ones down in here for you like this. So very, very easy to use as well. So those are all back in stock, and the jigs are back in stock as well. So the jigs are in. So if you want to grab any ones of these, you can do now. Remember, if you want to see about the jig, full reveal video for it, or review video for it, is down in here as well. But they are back in stock as well as all the other stuff. I have got a restock hopefully coming in for the DSP stuff in the next few weeks as well, and I will get the glue pot holders and that sorted out next week as well. All right, but I'm acutely aware we're bringing in the A as well. I know we do the B, C and D types of the actual templates, but I am bringing in the A as well, so we have the full set. Some of you have been asking for that, but if you want any of the usual bits and pieces, they are over there on the Flory Models store for you to have a peruse of just like that. Last up, over on pmmodelsuk.com. We do have lots of things going down here. So we've got the ICM Marauder, beautiful kits we know, just over 55 quid. Again, they're certainly getting their run. They're turning into Hasegawa with a redecaling company rather than a modelling company, but they're getting their money's worth out of that. The Meng's beautiful growler, really nice kit as well. Little Meng Bradley, this is the 72nd one. And we've got a load of books in stock as well. It's got some good prices up on here. So some of them are limited as well. So if you want to get them, grab them as you can. But again, we've got lots of books down in here. So if you fancy of any of those, you can get them. Plus some of the other bits and pieces we had up on there and last week. Some good deals. Oh, and we got the Airmark ones as well. They're all in here as well. So if you want to get any of those ones, grab them whilst you can, because once they are gone, like all the PM stuff, they are gone. And that's about it for this week. Big week this week. Obviously, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, so I'm sort of working in the evenings and doing it like this, and we're doing sort of 3D stuff and all the behind the scenes bits and pieces during the actual daytime in there, with all the building work going on and breakers and saws and all the rest of it, and the noise that's going on in the middle of the house. So it's quite nice to be tucked out of the way here. All right. Anyway, loads of stuff coming next week as well. So I'm going to finish off the actual Huey going through. We're starting a brand new build as well, and I've got a couple of reviews coming your way as well. So stay tuned to all of those. Anyway, as always on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I was not ready to falling like I'm wasted.